So the Rebbe begins in the Maimer, Tzoyar Tasa Leteiva. Noach was commanded to make a tzoyhar to the teva. And we know there's two pirushim, like we're soon going to explain what the meaning of tzoyar is that Noach had to make. Or maybe the Rebbe brings from a Maimer that the Frierdiker Rebbe said in the year Tafshin Zayin. In other words, 40 years prior to when the Rebbe said this Maimer. In the connected Mamorim of Tishrei of that year of Tafshin Zayin that the Rebbe was talking about in that year, discussing that year. It was 40 years prior to when the Rebbe was saying this Maimer. As we know, after 40 years, a person gets to fully appreciate the mind of his Rebbe. So the Frierdiker Rebbe brings down the Maimer, Masha Pirish Rashi al Pasuk, what Rashi explained on the Pasuk. Yesh Oimrim Chaloin. There's one opinion that what was this tzoyhar that Noach made? He made a window, or what he was commanded to make. Yesh Oimrim, and some people say there's another opinion. What is this tzoyhar that Noach had to make for the teva? Even toiva ha'me'ira lahem, a precious stone, a brilliant stone, a shining stone, that would illuminate for them and give them light in the teva. And the Frierdiker Rebbe asks on this an interesting question. And he explains about this, the tzarech lahavin. We need to understand. Haloi ha'oir hu bria b'dei shamayim. Light is something that's created by heaven. Like it says, Hashem said there should be light, and there was light. How is it possible that you could make light? In other words, the way the Frierdiker Rebbe is looking at it is, tzoyar means you should make light to the teva. In the means to make light, that's the two opinions. How was he going to make light in the teva? Either through a window or through a precious stone. But the actual meaning of tzoyhar is from the word illumination. It's similar to the word zoyar, shining. Tzoyar Tasa Leteiva. So if so, the question is, light is not something you can make. Light comes from Hashem. And the Rebbe says, over there in the continuation of the Maimer of the Frierdiker Rebbe from Tafshin Zayin, he explains what is the meaning of these two things, of a window or a precious stone, and how in each one of them it applies the idea of making. So now the Rebbe is going to take this in a little bit of an additional direction. So he says in the second paragraph, it's known the explanation of the Baal Shem Tov. It's brought down in many places in Chassidus. Also in the Mamorim of the leader of our generation, of the Frierdiker Rebbe. The Tevas Noach, what does it mean, Tevas Noach? What is Teva? Teva also could mean words. Heina Tevis the Tefillah o Torah. The ship of Noach is not just a ship, but it's words. It's words of davening, words of learning. So the Baal Shem Tov explained the pasuk. Boy ata v'chol beis chol teva. You should come, and your whole household should come into the teva. What does that mean? So the Baal Shem Tov explains. The Torah is dabak b'hem. A person needs to insert himself into the words of Torah and davening, and to cleave in them. So now the Rebbe explains an interesting thing. Seemingly, this had to do with Noach. How does Noach, what was told to Noach, have any connection with me? So he says in the brackets, we could explain this. How could you say that a pasuk that was spoken to Noach about the teva of Noach, we're explaining it on our avodah? Every single yid has to embed themselves into the tevis of Torah and Tefillah. We can explain this according to the well-known explanation of the Rebbe Rashab. We say in the davening of Rosh Hashanah, we have the 10 psukim of Zechroinus. One of the psukim of Zechroinus that we bring in the Musaf of Rosh Hashanah, that we bring from Chamisha Chumshei Torah, we bring V'gam es Noach ba'ava zacharta, that also Noach, with love, you remembered. Seemingly, Noach is like an individual thing. Why do we care about the remembrance of Noach when we're trying to ask Hashem to remember Yidden by Rosh Hashanah? What's that have to do with the remembrance of Noach? So he says, the Hainu mitzad etzem mailus neshamas Yisrael. The remembrance of Noach. Why did Hashem remember Noach? Because the Yidden would eventually come out from Noach. So their remembrance was because the very essential advantage of Yidden. So therefore, we see this interconnectedness of what happened with Noach, with the Yidden. Therefore, when we say Boya Lateva by Noach, so too the Mezem Muvit. Shekol Einyan Latevas Noach Yeshnam Avoyos Yisrael. All the matters that took place in the Teva of Noach is to be found also in the Avoid of Yidden, and therefore when it says Boya Lateva, come into the Teva, it means the Tevis of Torah and Tefillah, the words of Torah and Tefillah, and that is also meaning and directed towards every Yid.